My name is Angela,
My name is Nicole.
and welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Welcome back to episode 2.
Hello, everybody.
You guys, we're doing another one. We had so much fun with the first one. We're doing another one.
We're back.
Lucky you. So, Nicole,
Yes.
what has you in stitches this week?
Oh, man. So, school's over.
Summertime.
I'm busy. This is my busy season, but what have you been up to in your stitches?
Well, summer with the kids is, transitioning from having all of the time to myself during the day, because right now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Woohoo! Go stay-at-home moms. And
What can I do to keep my kids occupied?
Oh my gosh, exactly. There's going to be lots of trips to the pool.
That's fun.
Lots of trips we belong to a climbing gym. Lots of trips to the climbing gym, lots of trips to the ice skating rink, just
You have
getting them
so much. See, you'll be
out.
fine.
Oh, it's going to be lots of running around with kids, bike riding,
Yeah.
and just keeping them busy, and a lot of just activities and being exhausted.
And screen time.
Yeah, when mommy needs a break, the TV goes on. So I have
like
no
that
shame
rule.
in that.
No, you should not have any shame. I do the same. Video games, TV.
Yes, I put myself in timeout all the time. I'm like, mommy needs a timeout. I put in my earbuds, I pull out my phone, and I watch a show or watch a podcast or do something. That is
time. You have to have your own time.
You do. So something that has me in stitches this week is we took our kids to a farmer's market. A new farmer's market just opened up in our area.
Fun.
And so we went for the first time. And okay, support your local farmers. Those of you who are lucky enough to live in an area where you have agriculture and you have access to fresh produce and fresh eggs and stuff. It was so much fun, and the kids had so much fun. But man,
Did you spend a lot?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's not, Walmart prices.
It's pretty much the opposite of Walmart prices. Nothing against Walmart and shopping there, but
Yeah. When you're trying to, work on a budget and keep your costs down, going to a farmer's market is a wonderful treat. Our kids are like, can we do this every week? And we're like, no. This is a treat. And it was wonderful to go and to try different things. And you guys, I just made Nicole try some of our little goodies that we picked up at the farmer's market.
Thank you for your samples. The cheese was funky.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
So we have cheese from a local dairy that is aged. I just had her try the aged 6-month cheese.
It's like a Parmesan.
Yeah, it's like a Parmesan. It's
she
a nice
made me
hard
try
cheese.
it like alone. I was like, what
I
is
didn't
this?
give her anything to try it with. I just gave her a big old hunk of cheese. She's like, I need crackers.
Yes, I love cheese, but when you give me something like a Parmesan on its own, I'm not ready for it. It was pretty intense.
It was intense. Yeah. She's like, this is intense. Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
I need a cracker.
Yeah, let's give you a cracker.
But the other one,
the is it kefir
or kefir?
Kefir.
I'm terrible. I used to say kefir.
Kefir.
You know what we're talking about?
Yes, it's the kind of yogurty, creamy, yummy goodness. That was really good. I like that.
It was delicious.
Yeah,
just that sample was really yummy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. Just trying to keep the kids busy. Trying to keep me in coffee so that I can keep up with that.
Hashtag coffee.
Oh my gosh.
All time.
I know. I think we're going to start having like a paranormal crochet coffee podcast.
I won't mind that. That combination's amazing to me.
Yes.
And I'm so glad we haven't hit a farmer's market in forever. My kids are at that age where we try to take them somewhere like that and they complain and they don't want to do it. And my husband's motto is like, we're the parents, you're going to go where we want to go. And I get it. I get that motto, but I don't like the complaining kids. So I'm a little bit more like laid back. I'm like, let's do something that everybody likes to do.
Yes. Yeah. We've gone through that stage, and I do have, they do still go into that every once in a while where they complain, but I think we've, I don't want to say beat it into them. We've gotten them to the point where they're starting to trust us that any little adventure that may not seem like it's fun, we usually turn it around and make it fun. My husband is amazing at that. He always comes up with, for example, when we went to the farmer's market and we started walking around, the kids were just like deer in headlights. They were just like, what's going on? What is this? And they kind of started to shrink away a little bit, and they weren't quite sure what to do or what to think. And then he said, okay, this is the game. We're going to walk around and look at all the stalls, and we're going to just look at everything and think about what we might want. And you're going to each pick something different that you've never tried before that you think would be kind of cool to eat and to try. So our kids got to walk around the market and look at everything that each vendor had to offer. And then they got to make choices on what they thought looked interesting and something new for them to try. And my youngest loves to shop. So she was way in when she's like, ooh, I get to buy something. Ooh, that's exciting.
I would be too.
So we wound up, everyone picked fruits and vegetables, which I was really impressed with.
That's shocking.
I know. I thought they would try something different. But no, that it was a lot of fun, and they wound up having a lot of fun with it. So we just try to turn everything into like a game to get them excited, and
that's smart.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you ready to dive into our new pattern?
Yes. So we're going to continue on with our series of nature. So we have a lot more nature stuff coming your way. So let's get stitching. I love how we dance for that. Okay, guys, we're diving back in with our next stitch. And the reason why I'm laughing so hard is because during the music break, we dance. And so it's really fun. Okay, so the next stitch that we're going to learn, remember, we're working on a project which is going to eventually turn into a blanket with a bunch of different nature stitches. We're making 8x8 squares. And so the next stitch that I'm going to teach you, you guys, this is the easiest stitch. It's called the moss stitch. It's also known as the linen stitch.
And this is pretty. I like this one too.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks kind of complicated. It's the easiest thing in the world. Little disclaimer, I may or may not have at one point when I was practicing this stitch, it was a weekend. I may have had a cocktail and I just picked up my yarn and I just went to town on this stitch. It is that easy that you can do it when you got a good buzz going on.
Okay, disclaimer again. Angela is the wunderkind of crocheting somehow. I don't know how she picks these up. So she says it's easy. She thinks I can do this. I think I can do it.
It's easy. It's just two things that you need to know how to do, and they are the most two basic things to crocheting. You need to know how to chain, and you need to know how to single crochet. That is all you're doing for the stitch.
Okay, I believe you.
Chaining and single crocheting. Okay. So I'm keeping with my size 6 or a J, 6mm hook, size J hook.
The one hook I've had my whole life.
Yes. The one hook that she uses for her one pattern that she, her shell stitch pattern, which I don't know how to do that. So that's something that she gets to teach me because I haven't done a shell stitch before.
You're going to pick that up and be like, oh, this is too easy. That's okay.
No, this one's too easy. The moss stitch is too easy.
Okay.
So for our 8x8 pattern, okay, I have to tell you something. When I was working on the sample of this when I was practicing it, I did my 30, I chained 30, which is what I did for the alpine because that equals 8 for me. So I chained 30 and it's going to be an even number plus, when you're chaining, it's going to be even number plus 4 because you're going to go back to the 4th stitch off the hook when you're going back to do your single crochet when you're setting up the first row. So for me, I did 34 chains and then went back to the 30th stitch and then set up my first row. And then I, did my test swatch for a little while, and I was like, this is working up so much smaller than my Alpine. It's not coming out to 8. It was coming out to 7 inches. I was like, what's going on? Why is it working up so much smaller? You guys, I had the wrong size hook. That's what I did.
See, it makes a difference, huh?
Use the same size hook. Just
take Nicole's motto. Don't change the hook size ever.
I think I had like a 5 millimeter hook, and I didn't even realize that I picked up a different size hook and
that's what made it different. Interesting.
Yes. Okay. So make sure that you're using the same size hook and the same gauge yarn. You can change colors all you want, but
for a blanket, for all one big compilation, right?
Use the same size hook.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was funny because then when I realized my mistake and I went back to the size 6, I was like, oh, it is still chain 30 plus 4 for the turn. It's the same. It will still come up to an 8x8. So whatever you used to get your Alpine square, use that same hook. It's still the same amount of chain plus 4 to turn back. So for me, I chained 34. I went back the 4th stitch off the hook, and I single crocheted into that stitch, and then I chained 1 and skipped the next stitch. So you're single crocheting in every other stitch and skipping the chain 1. So it's a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. And every time you chain 1, you're skipping the stitch underneath. Yes. Okay. And really, that's all this is.
Did you hear that, everybody?
Single crochet, chain 1. So you do that all the way back, and that's your row 1. Then you're going to chain 2. She's looking at it right now.
I'm staring at it intently because I want to see.
Okay. Then you chain 2, and then you dive into that first chain space that you set up on chain 1. And then you're going to single crochet into that chain 1 space. I'm handing it off to Nicole. She's going to go now.
Okay.
So you single crochet into that chain 1 space.
Right here?
Into the space. So this is your stitch, and you're going to go into that space. And then you're going to single crochet.
Okay.
She's doing it right now.
And then chain.
And then chain 1. And then you're going to find the next space.
Which is here.
So you're going to skip the stitch and then go into that next space.
Did I do it right?
Yep. And then you're going to single crochet and chain 1.
You guys,
and that's all you're doing. You go into the chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1.
That's the moss stitch?
That's the moss stitch. And then when you get to the end of the row.
Oh, I'm getting there. Hold on.
Okay. She's almost there.
Oh, okay. I'm at the end.
Yep. So you're going to single crochet into that chain 2 space. There you go. You're going to chain 2 and turn.
Guys, I got this.
I know. This is like the first stitch that Nicole feels super confident on. I love it. Okay, so did you turn?
Yeah, so now I'm turning. Do I go in the middle, in the first one right here?
No. So you go into that first chain space, which is right there.
Okay.
So you're going to single crochet and chain 1. And that's all you do, guys. I'm telling you, it is that easy.
I got this,
You can
guys.
do it. You can sip your wine on the weekend when the kids go down.
Watch your creepy movies.
Listen
to your creepy podcast.
This is the easiest stitch to do.
Look
and
at
it
this.
goes
I'm going
so
without even her
fast.
telling me.
I know. She's feeling that confident, you guys. This is okay. I've been crocheting with Nicole for a while, and this is the most hands-off I've ever been.
I have to go to her and go, did I do this right? And she goes, nope. And then she has to go back and correct me. There's this crazy chevron pattern that we were doing, and she had to put little markers in because I totally messed up. So, yeah.
The counting to 11. Yes.
Yeah. I can't count up everybody, apparently. So, anyway, this is amazing.
Fix this. Why do I have 9 and I'm supposed to have 11?
I was totally off on that one. And I really want to make that. We'll finish that pattern. But
yes,
this is great, guys. Yeah, moss pattern is the coolest pattern.
That's it. She's already done with the next row.
And I'm already on the next row. Okay. Yeah. So I think everyone's got this one.
That's the moss stitch. I'm telling you.
I love it.
This is the easiest one.
Check out the YouTube page.
Yes, this will be available on our YouTube channel, the Ominous Stitch podcast on YouTube, and you can see us doing this live and crochet along with us, guys.
Or just listen to us because we don't mind either way.
So, and that's all there is to the moss stitch, guys. It's that simple. I'm so proud of you, Nicole. That's like the fastest you've ever done.
Well, I've got the greatest teacher in the world.
Oh, my goodness. You're so sweet. You have to say that because you're my friend.
No, that's not true. I don't have to say that. You know, I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So now that we've got our stitch going, should we talk about our next story?
Yes, let's do this.
And there's more dancing.
Oh, man. Okay, everybody, let's take our travel pants on to Japan.
Our travel pants.
I
love it.
And we're going to go visit the Aokigahara Forest.
Aokigahara.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now, before we dive in, I just want to give a quick trigger warning because Aokigahara is a popular forest, unfortunately, for suicide.
Oh.
Yes, it's a very sad, and I'll go into why, but just know if you have any suicidal tendencies, thoughts, we know that life is pretty hard, especially after these last few years. Help is always available. Please call National Suicide Prevention Lifeline if you need anybody and you don't have anybody. That is at 800-273-8255. Again, 800-273-8255. All right. So, Aokigahara. Let me go into the geography.
Okay, I love this part.
I know. Just to give you a little background about the forest. All right, it's very dense, 30 square kilometer forest that sits at the foot of Mount Fuji, the highest mountain peak in Japan.
It's good water. Oh, no, that's Fiji water.
I just slapped her. You're probably going to take that out. Oh, my God. I love Angela so much. She makes me laugh. All right. Mount Fuji, not Mount Fiji. All right. The forest grew from the lava of Mount Fuji from the massive eruption that took place in 864 AD. And the porous lava bedrock absorbs sound and adds to the sense of isolation.
So we have porous rock again.
Yes.
And so we talked about the porous limestone in the last episode.
Correct.
So is lava another good conductor of paranormal energy?
Good question. But you know why? I'm going to go into this because it's pretty crazy that from Japan.travel website, if you hold a compass to the rocky volcanic ground, it may react to the natural magnetism.
Oh.
Yeah. So when you take any kind of compass or GPS system, they're not going to work because of that volcanic floor and the high iron deposits.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, don't get lost.
I mean, it's ominous.
It's ominous. Very ominous. So
that is a setup for so many good horror movies because it's like you can't use your GPS to find your way out.
No, it's going to
You guys, our technology these days is just messing up the horror movie industry, I think, because I'm always like, well, just use your phone, call somebody.
No, but you're in a forest. You probably have no signal in this forest.
Yeah.
Either.
So you have to go into the whole, you have no signal, your GPS doesn't work, your analog instruments don't work because of the magnets. And so you really are lost.
That would scare me.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
I'm not great with directions.
No, she's not.
So if I get into this, I tell Angela, when I'm driving, I type in wherever I go into my GPS.
It doesn't matter if she's been there a million times.
Yep.
She's got a GPS.
And you know why? And it's also because sometimes there's traffic, sometimes so I want to find the quickest way.
Yeah, get around it.
Yeah. So in Aokigahara, you cannot use GPS, you can't use compasses, and the ground is extremely hard to the point that traditional hiking tools such as spikes and axes cannot even penetrate the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
I would not want to go camping there.
I was going to say, how do you set up tents? I know there's tents that how would you get that into the ground?
I don't know. How do you? Oh, yeah. There's no, yeah.
So, yeah.
Glue it?
Oh. I love you, Angela. All right. Japanese tourism agencies even warn visitors to stay on the designated trails because if you step out of the trail, you will only see trees around you, making it very easy to get lost. I mean, a forest is full of trees, right?
You can't see the tree.
You can't see the
tree through the forest, right? Yeah.
So it's scary.
A forest would have lots of trees. I would think, yes.
Yeah. But I think, specifically, I think they're, going back to that you can't use a GPS system. You're going to get lost.
Yes.
Yeah. So stay on that trail.
Stay on the trail.
Yeah.
Don't get off the path. Stay on the path.
Right.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, even though it was initially named the Sea of Trees, many now know it as the Suicide Forest.
Oh.
Yes. And
so sad.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah. And this forest is one of the most common locations for people to commit suicide. And it's actually the second in the world. You know what the first one is? Can you guess?
What?
The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't
really?
that crazy? Yeah. So that's the first that counting. And that's really sad to do. But yeah, that's the first. Aokigahara is the second.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So speculation about the high number of suicides here is as actually due to they think is the 1960 book called Yuurei Kaiju, or Black Sea of Trees, which is about two lovers who decide to commit suicide in Aokigahara, romanticizing the concept.
Oh.
Prior to that, I actually found that ancient times, so this is, I don't know specific times, but they said that families would abandon people in the forest during periods of famine when there was not enough food to go around.
Gosh, that is so harsh.
Yeah, can you imagine? And we were just talking about a farmer's market where you can get anything. They couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in their thought process, by sacrificing family members to the forest, there would be less mouths to feed and therefore enough food for the rest of the family. A little more serious again, unfortunately. As far as numbers, the local police stopped publishing the number of suicides that take place in Aokigahara, so it could be seen as more of an amazing forest rather than a place to take your life. I know. Last data recorded was in 2003. 105 confirmed suicides registered, but the number could be more because a lot of corpses are never found.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very sad. In 2010, police records show that 247 people attempted suicide, but only 54 of them resulted in death. So a little better, but
people,
yeah.
My heart is breaking for all these people. I'm like, there's always other options, and life is fluid. Things are always changing. So even if something seems
so bleak
and dark and you don't see your way out of it, there is always a way out of it. You just got to hang on and keep going and find people that will help you and will talk you through. There's always people that are there to help you and talk you through any hardship or anything that's going on in your head. Even if you think that there isn't, there is. There's always that option. Always.
I think that's what it is. I think people get so down thinking that no one is there for them, and that's just so sad. But yes, I feel like there's always one person there that would be willing to help you out in any situation. So, but even the local government are trying to dissuade the thoughts of suicide in Aokigahara right now, because at the beginning in the entrance, they put a sign up and it reminds visitors, and this is in Japanese Nihongo, but it reminds visitors that life is a precious gift from their parents and to quietly think once more about your parents, siblings, or children. Please don't suffer alone and first reach out.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, that's really nice, and I'm really glad they did that. But
so always look on the bright side of life. Do 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 do. Thank you, because I can't whistle. I couldn't do the whistle.
I can whistle, but I don't want to. If I whistle, I might make the microphone go crazy, so I'm not going to do it. There are stories when you're on the trails and things like that, and your GPS isn't working and compasses aren't working. People are entering the forest. They'll string along tape behind them so they can find their way back.
Oh,
But
better tape than breadcrumbs, but tape breaks, people. Let's not.
So
or you run out of it.
That, or there are stories of people having their tape deliberately cut, leaving them lost in the woods.
Oh, that's mean.
Yes.
Who's cutting the tape?
That's a good question. That's the mystery.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the haunted paranormal situations around this, obviously, with the suicidal tendencies and people dying in here, it relates to a website. I'm going to read you some information from a website called yokai.com/yuurei.
Yokai.
Yeah. So for parents out there, this is not the cartoon yokai, although you know that yokai is based off of ghosts and spirits.
Yes, they are. The yokai,
So
yes. Oh my
this is
gosh.
not the happy yokai weird. Oh my gosh, I can go on a tangent about my kids got these toys, the yokai toys.
Yes, the yokai watch toys.
Yes.
Yes, we had them too.
You have them and they talk and they are so annoying. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No, but this is the opposite of the happy yokai. And these, according to Japanese folklore, they're called yuurei.
Yuurei.
Yuurei haunt the Aokigahara Forest, and yuurei translates to faint spirit or ghost, and are commonly found in graveyards, houses, or near the place of death.
Okay.
Yuurei retain the features and the clothing they wore when they died or were buried. Yuurei are capable of invoking powerful curses. They do not roam, but haunt one particular place or person.
Ooh, so it's kind of like a residual haunting.
Residual, exactly. Some yuurei are reluctant to accept their own deaths. Each haunting is as unique as a person it originated from. Oh. And only when its purpose for existing is fulfilled or it is exercised by a priest and a yuurei finally can rest.
Oh, so they're stuck until they can get resolution and then they get to move on. Wow.
Again, that's a very, across the world.
Yeah, it's a very common thing to happen with hauntings and with ghosts. Exactly. A lot of spirits get trapped in that one moment in time and they're just reliving it and replaying it until they're able to get some kind of resolution. And one of my favorite things to watch is I love watching the medium shows. So there was like Long Island Medium.
That's right, yeah.
And then there was what was her name? Russo is her last name.
Was she on a show?
Yes, she has a show, and she would take celebrities. It was on the L&M network, and she would take celebrities to places where they were haunted. And there were a lot of times where there were like residual hauntings in those, and she would be able to communicate with the spirits and get their stories told and have that celebrity or whoever she was with help that entity move forward and move into the light and get past what it was because they were able to tell their story. But a lot of times those spirits were trying to connect because they felt a similar kinship with that celebrity. Celebrities, because always had to be celebrities,
of course,
but they would feel something that connected them to them because either they were going through a similar hardship to what that entity experienced right before their death, or they saw something in themselves that they could relate to.
Interesting.
And so they would that's why they came forward and haunted that particular person.
Because they felt like they could relate to them.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And so once she was, Kim Russo, that's her name, Kim.
Nice.
So once Kim was able to communicate with that entity and get their story told, she was able to help a lot of them move through.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love mediums I love watching medium shows, but I love mediums that are able to connect and get the stories told of those entities that are trapped in that space.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wow. Yeah, this is exactly.
We need to send Kim Russo to Aokigahara so she can help
she
these
can clear
ghosts
the
move.
forest.
Yeah.
Clear that forest.
Help the yuurei move forward.
Yeah, man. Just like in what you're talking about, in traditional Japanese beliefs, those who do not receive the proper funeral rites can't pass on, just like that. So,
yes.
They remain stuck in a purgatory that is part physical world and part ethereal. Others who die suddenly, tragically, or violently are sometimes unable to pass on, even with the proper prayers and rites. These lost souls transform into yuurei.
Oh,
yeah. Now,
let's start a GoFundMe to send Kim to Aokigahara.
I wonder if she's. I mean, how long has she been on TV? Has she? I'm sure she's heard of.
Oh, I'm sure she has. Yeah, I'm sure she has.
I think that would be such a neat experience to see, or send somebody.
I would want to be part of that team.
Yeah.
I would want to go with her.
Try to clear it out.
Yeah.
That'd be hard though. I wonder if it just takes a toll on people.
I'm
too.
sure it does. I'm sure it's so draining because when you're communicating and getting their energy, you're feeling that energy off of that. Would there be a language barrier too?
I wonder, I bet when you move on, I wonder if language becomes like a universal language.
I think so.
Yeah. Because and it even doesn't have to be speaking language. I'm sure it's because you're in energy at that point. I'm sure you can feel how they're feeling and
Yeah.
So
and I'm sure they communicate through a lot of imagery.
Yeah. The belief in yuurei continues today. When a body is found in Aokigahara, the forest guardians, there's actually a
forest guardians.
Yeah.
So are these like little mythological nymphs or something?
No.
Oh, these are real
these
people?
Are real people, forest guardians.
Really?
Yes. They need them in Aokigahara because of that. Yeah. So forest guardians, they place the body that they find in a room next to the forest before they send it to the authorities. So I'm guessing their forest guardians are our
forestry department.
Yes.
The forest rangers.
Forest ranger.
Yeah.
Ranger. That's what I was trying to think of. My brain. I can think of a million other things, and when I'm trying to think of one.
Well, I mean, we're moms. We have mom brain. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
You guys, my nickname before I had kids, people used to call me the elephant because I would never forget. My brain stored so much information and I could just recall it so quickly. And now I can't remember simple words. They're just gone.
You don't use them enough. So
no.
You don't use it, you lose it.
No, well, simple words like door. I remember one time I was like, you need to shut the thing that you go in and out of. What is that called?
Especially when you're angry.
Yeah. And my kid is like, the door? Are you talking about the door? Yes, that thing. Shut it. Don't let the dog out or something, No,
I do that all the time.
Simple words.
Or you call them different names.
Oh, yeah.
So
you go
angry.
through every single name.
Yep. I went through the dog's name.
Yeah. Miles. That's her dog, Miles.
Oh, Miles. All right. So they place the body that they find in a room next to the forest. And legend has it that if the body is left alone in the room, its yuurei move around screaming in the room.
Oh, no.
Yes. So hence, forest guards will actually play rock, paper, scissors to determine who the unlucky companion to the body is. So they don't want to leave it alone, but they don't want to go in there. So
because it's like it feels trapped and stuck in that, and they don't want to be the one that has to guard the body.
Exactly.
Oh, well, why do they do it that way? Well, no,
don't put it in a room.
I'm sure they put it in the room so that other people that are coming to the forest aren't disturbed by seeing this, dead body.
Right. That's probably that's a good assumption.
Yeah.
If you leave it outside, there's room for people to see this body.
Yeah.
Which is pretty scary. So, yeah, that's sad.
You have to tell the yuurei, you're okay. You're in a safe place.
You're going to be okay. Well, that's why you got to go talk to them. You got to go sit in that room with them. So,
yeah, and calm them down.
Yeah. People often do report hearing blood-curdling, unnatural screams while wandering the forest, and it's said to be made by the yuurei. A writer for the Japan Times told of an incident where he heard a terrifying scream in the forest. When he went searching for the source of the noise, he came across a dead body of a man at the base of a tree.
Oh.
A quick examination revealed that the corpse had been dead for some time and could not have been the source of the scream physically.
Oh, wow. So it's like the screaming led him. So he may have been hearing like the residual haunting. The yuurei.
Yeah. You're hearing the yuurei.
The yuurei is leading you
out.
to the body.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
But again, though, this circling back, if you bring that body out of the forest, the physical body, and the yuurei has to be trapped because they're probably unfinished. So
yeah, I have so many questions for the yuurei. I want to know how it happened and how I can help them.
You're the medium. Go to it.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Send me there. I will go. Let's go to Japan.
Would you be able to handle that though? Because that's a lot of energy to take on, and that's not all good energy, you know. So
no, it would be terrifying because I'm sure that. Okay, so I guess we're kind of talking about it. I am somewhat of an empath, and I have been able to communicate from time to time with people that I know that have passed on, and it's not something that I've practiced a lot. It's just something that has happened, and I'm really interested in learning how to use that gift more, but it is something that I've been able to tap into and do, which has led me to really have a strong interest in paranormal.
And this is why we, just as a heads up, this is how we became on the topic of paranormal. She brought this up to me and my jaw dropped, and she never told me the last 10 years about this.
It's not something that you casually drop in a conversation. Like, by the way, I have some psychic ability.
Which is amazing though. I kind of wish I could do that, but at the same time I don't, because I think I would pee my pants like daily.
Yes. So it's interesting because it has brought me comfort when I needed it. And it's still scary for me, which is another reason why I haven't really developed it. And it's weird because people that haven't developed that sense don't believe in it. So it's not something that I like to bring up in front of people, because people will be like, oh, okay, sure, you're just full of it and you don't. But those of you that have had experiences, and most of us have had experiences, because we can all do it. We all are capable of having that sense. Most of us don't want to experience it or let it be something that, that we acknowledge.
Well, it's again, that's that word, supernatural. It's not natural.
Yes.
And people don't want, if it's not been around in front of you daily.
Yes.
In that real life situation, it's hard to believe.
Yes.
And you don't want to. Some people, I think, just refuse to believe.
They refuse to believe that those coincidences, and if you can see me, I'm using air quotes. Those coincidences that pop up in your life, it's real. It's not a coincidence. It's something that happens. And I've had enough experiences that have gone beyond those gentle coincidences to know that, okay, this is a real thing that's happening to me. And so I've accepted it. And when it happens, I go with it and I accept it. But it's not something that I have spent a lot of time trying to develop in myself, because it's still a little scary.
Oh,
it's still a little,
no, I can't imagine.
A little weird. But so that's what she's tapping into. I would find it interesting whenever I do go to places that are haunted. Sometimes it's scary, but other times it's like I really want to know what that person's story is, and I want to know what's going on with them, and I want to be able to help them to get past whatever it is. I mean, that's just me in my nature anyway, even with live people.
A beautiful nature of trying to help. I mean, again, as a teacher, I think when you go towards that career, you're going to want to help. And outside of your career, you're going to just want to be a helpful person. And that's Angela.
So I want to know their story. I want to help them. And so that's what I would be interested in doing with the yuurei is finding out
their story, right?
Yeah, finding out their story and help them to move past it. So Kim, if you're listening, you and I, let's go to Japan.
Yeah, go travel. Go fund me.
We'll take Nicole. She'll be scared the whole time, but she'll find it fascinating.
I mean, just as a side note, I have been to Japan, just not the Aokigahara Forest.
Oh,
I went when I was in my college years. We went on tour in Kyoto.
Oh,
but not that I would have, if I knew then that the Aokigahara Forest was there, I'm sure I would have tried. But group trips, you can't really diverge from where you are. So
right.
But anyway, I love Japan. I think Japan's a beautiful place.
Yeah, my dad's been there. He loved it. It's his most favorite place that he's ever been.
It's my favorite people. They are, you were talking in our last episode about the German people being nice. We got lost when we were there. We were on a side excursion. We walked into their 7-Eleven. The attendant didn't speak English, but he tried so hard to help us, and he even tried to walk us out of the store and just like kind of walked and pointed and was like so nice. And that's where
so sweet.
Yeah, that's where I kind of my epitome of, okay, that's in my head how nice and very sweet the Japanese people are.
What I like about the Japanese people, and this is true of Japanese people that I've met and that I've befriended. I've never been to Japan, so I can't say that this is overall what it is, but my sense of it is they're just polite and respectful. That's the best word, is that they're very respectful of their environment, of their family, of other people, which I think is beautiful. I love that. I love how they look at just like a simple object and they see what it is and what it does, and how to be respectful of that and be thankful and grateful for what that object provides for them in their lives. Marie Kondo. I love Marie Kondo. I definitely watch all of her. This sparks joy. But I love that because I have a hard time letting go of things.
We're very American.
Because I look at it and I'm like, it has a dollar value. I spent money on this.
That's how I look at things too.
And then it just clutters my house and I need to get rid of it because it does not spark joy for me.
No, my husband's like, you're hoarding. I'm like, but we could sell this later. You're never going to do it. Throw it away.
Yeah, you're never going to sell.
I'm like,
so I finally learned, I'm like, I thank it for what purpose it has served in my life. And then I'm able to let it go. I think that's beautiful to be able to do that. That's a really good motto
with your things. Yeah.
And my oldest daughter is the same way that I am. She wants to hold on to everything because it all has some kind of, for her, it's a sentimental value. For me, it has moved beyond sentimental and been like, it's got a monetary value to it. I know how much money I spent on it. For her, it's all sentimental. And when she has to say goodbye to clothes that she loved and that she wore forever, and she's just growing like a weed right now.
Big, yes.
Oh my gosh. She's 11 and taller probably about 5'5", 5'6".
Taller than me.
She's taller than Nicole.
She's only 11, right?
She's 11. Yeah. Just growing like a weed. But having to say goodbye to certain things for her is really tough. So she's more accepting of it if she gets to thank it for its purpose and what it served for her in her life.
I like that motto.
And let it move on.
I love that.
Be thankful and grateful for what you have. Yes. And I love that about the Japanese people.
Yeah. We digressed so much.
No,
we're coming back, guys. Sorry.
This is who we are.
Yes.
Welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast, guys.
Moving back. So in the forest, some have reported seeing objects move and seeing shadows among the trees. Spiritualists say that the trees themselves are filled with a malevolent energy.
Ooh.
Now, tied into that, it's all about yuurei. But next, supposedly there have been actual ghost sightings with hikers, sometimes claiming to see white figures drifting between the trees.
I was watching a show. Did you? Okay. Oh gosh, what is it called? Destination Truth. Yes. Okay. They went to Aokigahara.
Yes.
And they saw a white figure.
Yes.
I'm slapping her knee right now.
Well, you jumped to where I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love it.
She saw this. Okay. So in 2013, the sci-fi show Destination Truth, I'm sure most of you have heard of this, they took a trip, to Aokigahara and filmed their excursion at night. So there's a YouTube clip that you can watch the whole show. We're not going to link that. We will link the clip.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was creepy. And the guy was so funny.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like slapping her knee again.
She's excited about this.
I am.
Because it is. The clip is really creepy, and they circle it and you see something and it's there. I mean, I don't know if you could edit that in the way that thing creeped in and out. It's creepy. But anyway, so you can see it. They catch a white apparition in the woods for a few seconds, and it just slowly vanishes and shrinks away.
Yeah, it's kind of like it materializes.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's next to a tree, and it kind of materializes, and then you see this human form, and it's definitely a human form.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like the man sticker that you see on the bathrooms.
The man.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? That's what it looks like. It's the head and the shoulders, and
I totally,
right.
No, I was see when I saw it, I thought of the Ring girl. Like I didn't see the hair, right?
Yeah.
But you see how she moves out of the well. Like
it just kind of comes up.
Yes,
and then it's there,
and then
it's the silhouette of a man, and then it slinks back kind of the way it came,
but awkwardly, not like you were like if
there's no way a real person could just slide in and out that way. They
would have to bend down or fall. Like
our joints don't move that way.
Yeah, that's really creepy.
Oh man.
Last I've got for you is just a quick little blurb, and in that it's in the New Zealand Herald Online. They mentioned that there are very religious undertones regarding the hauntings. So in 2000, a Buddhist monk, Kyomyo Fukui, I guess
You're
that's
so
right.
Good at saying these things. Okay.
I had a little bit of Japanese in high school. That's
okay,
why
good.
I think
I can't help you with Japanese.
That's okay. You helped me with my German very well last time.
Okay.
But yeah, Kyomyo Fukui, I think. Sorry, please don't kill me for that one. The spirits are calling people here to kill themselves. The spirits of the people who have committed suicide before.
Oh.
So what happened was in that year 2000, him and 50 other monks from his temple, they came to for the first time to construct a temporary altar in the car park, and they prayed for the repose of the troubled spirits of Aokigahara.
Oh.
And again, now, it's hard to tie the religious undertones, but at the same time, it's easy because, again, that's your spirit, that's your life force is stuck, and if you are calling, you want other people to join you to be stuck because you don't want to be alone.
Misery loves company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was their kind of theory, and I don't know if it worked. That they just kind of, the New Zealand Online just reported that's what they were doing, but I don't think it helped, unfortunately, because obviously there's more suicides after that. So
yeah. They tried.
See?
You got to talk to them and help them move on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful forest as a recap, but having no hiking gear, no compasses, no mechanical, no electrical things that would work to get you around the forest.
Yes.
I think I may not want to go visit just because of that alone. I would just get lost in general.
If you don't have a good sense of direction.
Which I don't.
Yes. Don't use tape.
Don't use tape.
Because it gets cut.
Yeah.
Don't go into the woods at night.
Alone.
Stay on the path.
Stay on the path.
When you hear people scream, don't follow them. That's the yuurei trying to trick you and pull you in.
Get the heck out of there. There you go.
Wow. That is way more haunted and more ominous.
Ominous.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to continue on with more haunted forest stories.
More haunted.
I think we're going to...
So many haunted forests, guys.
Stay tuned. I believe we're going to go a deep dive into Yosemite.
I'm going there so many times this summer, guys.
Maybe you'll see a haunting.
Oh, that would be cool.
Don't get snatched. That's I think what we're going to be talking about. Is
don't get snatched.
Don't. There's some, okay. Just as a preview, at least for my research, it's a lot of missing cases, but mysterious missing cases.
Oh.
Yeah. So stay tuned for our next episode. We copy each other.
And now we're back after our wonderful dance break. We will have to film that for just like a little extra. We'll put it on our socials of what we do.
The wacky waving inflatable arm guy. That's us.
That's what we're doing.
Oh my God.
That's it. Okay.
All right.
So it's movie time, guys. Movie o'clock.
Movie.
Nicole made me watch another scary movie.
And there's a theme to this as well. We'll try to, we're going to move around, but our movie that we're reviewing in this episode is Insidious. Insidious came out in 2010. IMDb rating is 6.8 stars. And the synopsis is: a family looks to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further.
The Further. The Upside Down?
The Upside Down. Shh. We are not claiming this is Stranger Things. The Further.
The Further.
Right.
Okay.
So, Angela, give us some background to this movie.
Okay. So here are my issues. Okay, well, no, we'll talk about the positives first. We'll do the positives. This is another James Wan masterpiece.
That's why we're connecting. Yep.
Yes. Okay, so we watched The Conjuring last episode, and we talked about all the beautiful cinematography that he had going on, just gorgeous shots. This also had some really beautiful shots.
Right
the opening sequence with the focus on the light and then moving through the house. And that was really cool. I love that. I remember when I was watching it and I was texting Nicole, again, another awesome text chain between the two of us. But I was texting Nicole and I was like, this is beautiful. I love the way that it's shot.
The music.
Oh, and the music is really cool. And she's like, pay attention to the drawings. Yes. Pay attention to what you see. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's a little foreshadowing.
It's a very clever way to open a movie to introduce the names and things while showing some really creepy, like the house, and some things move, and some things don't.
Yeah,
getting you pay attention.
Yeah, getting you in the vibe of where this is going. Because unlike The Conjuring, this is not based on true events or real life. So this is out of somebody's pure, insane imagination.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful imagination.
But based on some things that people do believe in and some metaphysical, like astral projection.
Astral projection,
yeah. Which is an interesting concept. Have you ever had any experiences of astral projecting?
I not personally, and I don't know anybody who has. I don't know if this is related. I do have premonition dreams.
Ooh.
And we'll maybe deep dive into that later, but I've had dream. This is where my little into the unknown.
That's another song cue that I'm not going to do. Disney.
Don't do it. But yeah, the deja vu premonition is kind of, I think, in a way almost tied to the astral projection, but that one is even crazier.
Yeah. I mean, I've had dreams where I can see my body, and that's like talked about. Yeah, that's something that's mentioned in the movie of when they're explaining what astral projection is, where you're it's that outside of your body experience that you have, and it happens when you're in a dream or in a dreamlike state.
Right.
And I've had moments like that in dreams when I was younger.
I think when you're younger, you have a better connection with the paranormal, supernatural, different realm.
Yes. Yeah. The other dimensions. I do remember having dreams where I'm just looking at my body and just kind of floating and like, whoa, what's going on here? And then
coming right back.
Then I jump right back in. So, but yeah, I think this is a really interesting topic, and it takes like 3/4 of the movie before you realize what's going on there.
That is the mystery. What's going on?
Like you're like, okay, I get that this is a scary movie, but like, why is it scary? Yeah. What is the topic? What is happening here? You think it's just like, it tricks you because you think it's just.
You think it's a ghost story.
Yeah, you think it's a ghost story. There's a ghost that's haunting this kid,
right? That
knocks him out in the head.
Well, when we do movie reviews, we're gonna give you some spoilers. So.
Oh yeah, spoiler. Yeah. This movie came out, 12 years ago? Yeah. 2010. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. But you've had time to see it, y'all. So
if you love horror movies, you've seen it.
Yeah. And it's part of a franchise. So we have the Conjuring franchise. Now we have the Insidious franchise that we're going through here. So it's beautifully shot. The story takes a while to get there. So I appreciate the twist that you don't really know what's going on. You think it's a regular haunting movie, and then you realize that it's more. There's more layers to it. So I enjoy that it's giving you more layers and more definition. And then kind of like in The Conjuring, you do have a paranormal expert that comes in and helps the family through the experience
and figure out what's going
on. Figuring out what's going on. So that's cool.
I loved her, the two helpers, the guys.
Oh my gosh, they were
relief.
so funny.
Yeah.
She needs me more. No, I'm more important than you. No. I'm the most important. I do the drawings.
Yes. Yes.
I set up all the camera shots. Yeah, no, it's great. So issues. I have to dive into the issues right off the bat because first of all,
she couldn't stop texting about
oh my gosh, it was driving me crazy. So let's talk about the housing situation first.
What a big house they have.
It was gorgeous. Like, I'm like, if this was my house and it was haunted, I'd be okay. I'd still live here. Yeah. I didn't like how they were messing with the mom she wants to just write music. I could empathize with her. I'm like, yeah, you just want to write music and then you can't find your music and where is it? And I know you realize you just moved, but like, where is it?
But she knew that she put it somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, as a mom, that speaks to us because that happens to me
all the time,
a million times. Where I will, have something that I need, set it out, and then it's gone. I have a microphone that I use when I'm teaching, and my son also will borrow it and use it to talk to his friends when he's video gaming, when he's playing Fortnite.
Yes.
And I'm like, where's my microphone? I have a lesson coming. I need to teach. I don't know. And like, I know you took it. So yeah, as a mom, your kids are constantly taking your stuff and moving it. And they're like, I don't know. I didn't do it. I'm like, yes, you did. Where'd you put it? So anyway, they have this big, beautiful house that they just moved into. And the normal, like trying to shuffle things around and get to know the house that you've just moved into. And then you find out what they do for work. So here's my issue, right? She's a musician. She writes music, but she's
not working.
She's not working.
Because she's got kids.
She's got kids. She's not working. She's trying to get back into the game, but it's been difficult. So she's not really, I don't know if she has residuals coming in from any pieces that she's written.
Did they explain why they moved? I forgot. We just know that they just moved.
We know that they just moved and they needed to move in. They needed like a better situation for themselves, I think.
Okay,
so I don't really know.
Okay.
I think the mom had gone through something. Which is why she'd stopped writing, but now she feels like she's ready to get back into it.
Sure.
But she does have one that's in elementary school and one that isn't school aged yet. It's probably around 2 years old, right? The little one.
I thought he could speak. No.
The baby?
Oh, there's a baby too. There's 3.
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh my gosh. I thought there was only 2.
Yeah. So she's a baby.
Okay.
So here's my issue. She's not working. She is a out of work musician. Those of us who are musicians understand what it is to be a musician and how much money you make, especially when you're out of work as a musician. Man. You're not making anything. So she's not really contributing that much. No. She is because she is a mom.
Oh, yeah.
And she's working hard as the mom. Yeah. But as far as her career goes, it's on the back burner.
Yeah, yeah. And she tries to. She tries to work on it in the movie, but
yeah.
We see that.
And then her music is missing. Yeah. So she can't compose because her sheet music is gone. Right. Anyway, so the mom isn't working. She's not contributing to household funds at this moment. The dad, so we're thinking that, okay, he's got some high-powered job. It keeps him out late at night. He's always working into the wee hours of the morning. Everyone's always in bed and asleep by the time he comes home from work. Later on, you discover that he's a high school teacher.
A high school teacher.
He's not making bank.
He should be coming home at like 3.
3 p.m.
He's not a coach.
He needs to come home and help the mom take care of those babies.
And the house. How is he affording this house?
I don't know.
Do they live in like nowhere land? That's the only thing we can assume.
Okay, so we live in California.
Where you can't afford anything.
No, the house that they're living in would be a multi-million-dollar house in California.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you're affording that on a teacher salary.
It's got like three levels.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, big craftsman-style home.
At least 3 bedrooms.
Yes. It's a multi-million-dollar home.
How is he affording that as a high school teacher
salary? You don't.
So that's very unbelievable.
Issue number 1.
Yeah.
Issue number 2, if you're a high school teacher, you're not staying at work until
11 p.m.
11 p.m. or midnight.
Well, we find out later why I think he's doing it, but it's just
he's doing it to avoid his family, y'all.
Avoid issues.
He's avoiding what's going on with his son.
Yeah.
He's avoiding what's going on. He does not want to be involved.
Nope. Yep.
He made me so angry.
Angela was very upset.
And Nicole has watched this movie, so she knows what's going on while I'm texting her. So she knows what happens with the dad and why he's avoiding.
But Patrick Wilson's such a good actor. He does a great job at being that deadbeat dad.
Oh, I was so mad. I was like, I don't like this movie, Nicole. Stop making me watch it. There's no way they can afford this house on a teacher's salary. And then they move because 3 kids. Oh my gosh, 3 little kids.
And that's a lot, yeah.
And then they move too in the middle of the movie because they think the house is haunted.
Yeah.
And so Rose Byrne, that's the actress that plays the mom. I love her so much.
She's so amazing.
She makes me happy every time I see her on screen. But
she's British, right?
Yes.
So she pulls off that American
I
accent.
loved
really
her.
Well.
She's okay. So they move to another house that there's no way that they could afford.
It's a very nice house. It looks new.
It's a different style home. It's more of like a California contemporary home.
Single story, yeah.
But it's still another house that they can't afford on the teacher's salary.
Especially, and then moving, like they didn't sell the other house right away, I'm sure. It takes a long time for closing.
Yeah, they just packed up and moved.
They packed up and moved in like 2 days, it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And he's like, the spoiler part 2. So her eldest falls, right, and goes into a coma, and he's now being taken care of at home with a nurse. How do you afford that care?
They must have amazing health care as a teacher.
As a teacher. Well, they get benefits, but benefits enough to cover that. Like, that's pretty intense. So, anyway.
That wouldn't be covered on, my old Kaiser plan. No way. So they move with full-time care in their house. Yep. Magic of Hollywood, people. That's how this gets done.
So frustrating. I just want to afford a home. California. Anyway,
we digress.
Yeah. So moving along. So they find out later, right, from the mom, it's not a haunting. It's
more than that.
Yeah.
So it's not the house that's haunted. It's the son that's haunted.
Because he is able to what?
Astral project.
Yes.
So he has been doing it for a while, but he thought he was just dreaming. And then you get to see in the beginning, spoiler alert, you see all these drawings that he did. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the drawings and you're like, oh, that's him flying. That's him actually astral projecting. He's out of his body.
Yes.
And then he's traveling in the further, which is kind of like this in-between world in another dimension, but he's doing it when he's sleeping, so he thinks that it's a dream. It's a dream, but it's different than a dream. Like he is leaving his body and moving into another dimension. And so the spirits that live in that dimension have noticed that he's not in his body and they want a body to inhabit.
Right.
And so one of the spirits has locked up the little boy and won't let him
far. Because
he's gone too far into the further.
He wants to take his body.
He wants to take his body.
We shouldn't spoil it too much.
Yeah. But anyway, you find that out. That plot happens there. Yeah. And so that's really what's happening. It's the boy that's haunted. Mm-hmm. It's not the house. So they brought the spirits to the new house. And one of the creepiest scenes for me happens in the new house. And it has to deal with the song that we were actually going to use for this podcast, but
we were like, this is the perfect song.
Oh my gosh. You guys know it. Everybody sing along. Tiptoe through the window. Da, 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 da.
I'm letting Angela do that. I'm not the vocalist.
Tiptoe through the window. Oh, that song is always creeping me out.
That's it's amazing that like you think it's such a happy song, but the way it's sung.
Well, it's a man singing in falsetto, so you have that like really wobbly kind of a voice that doesn't fit, and so it's just creepy.
Yeah, that whole scene, the scene of the little when she's outside of the new home,
yes,
and she sees the little boy listening, and that was so scary to me. It wasn't a jump scare at all. It was just like that imagery and that sound and that song, like all together. James Wan did a really good job of scaring the pants off.
He gets you. He gets you.
He did it.
That was good.
But yeah, the further was even more scarier. They even dive into, I mean, again, we won't ruin everything, but
it's a nightmare state. Just the way that the people that are in the further, or the spirits that are in the further, the way they have that choppy robotic movement, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
So creepy.
And just the painted on smiles on their faces as they're moving, and that is, you know,
the family,
the stuff that makes your nightmares.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was hard to get through. I could, again, when I watch scary movies, sometimes I close my eyes a little, or I'm crocheting, and I'm like, cover my face. Like,
crocheting is a great thing to do while you're watching these scary movies,
you can look down.
You can just pull the crochet up over your eyes.
Yes,
you have that blanket to cover your face.
Any other issues with the movie that you had?
Well, without spoiling anything, you finally understand why the dad is such a douche. You get to be okay with that at the end. You're like,
you do.
Okay.
Because he didn't know. I think it was a very unconscious thing that he was doing to avoid it, because maybe that's how he was put into it. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a suggestion that they put into the dad so that he would stay away.
Yeah, from the further.
Because, okay, little spoiler, like father, like son. That's all I'm going to say.
That's good.
So anyway, the father does try to have a heroic moment. But that sets you up for the next movie, I'm assuming. I've not seen Insidious 2, but...
And we will.
Oh, good.
We'll review that at some point.
We got to see what happens next.
I think we're going to go old school in the next one. But anyway,
she has this whole list, this whole plan.
Because I love horror movies. All right. So again, IMDb gave it a 6.8. Well, how many stitches would you give this movie?
Yeah, I tend to go with IMDb ratings. I think they're pretty, I liked The Conjuring better. I thought it was better.
Interesting.
I think Insidious deals with a really cool topic that isn't usually dealt with in paranormal movies. And so that was cool. That was a new twist to astral projection, to throw that in there and have it be a different type of haunting. It's not tied to the house, but it is tied to the ability of the characters that are in the movie. I liked a lot of the devices that they used with the picture taking. You're taking pictures, and then there's suddenly a figure that's in the pictures that keeps getting closer and closer to the subject of the photo.
Oh, that was so creepy.
So I think that was a good device. And the device of music, whoever they used for composition. Okay, I have to tell
violins,
you.
Man.
Oh, that was so good. I have to tell you just a quick little side note about horror movie music. One of my best friends when I was in college, she's a twin, both girls, the sweetest girls ever. And they had a very sheltered upbringing. They weren't exposed to a lot growing up. And one of those twins is now a very celebrated composer for horror films.
Wow.
It's amazing. I'm like, how did you do that? How did you make that transition? But no, she wanted to be a film composer.
Okay.
And writing for horror music just gives you such a wide variety to choose from. You can make all kinds of crazy and interesting sounds.
You can how to invoke that fear.
Yeah.
That's fun.
She's really good at it.
Amazing.
I'm like, but you're the sweetest person ever.
Maybe that's the best type of person to do that.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, right on. So you give it.
So I would say that it's a pretty fair rating. I did like The Conjuring better, probably because of the real story behind it, and I love diving into that. But I thought it was very creative. I thought it was beautifully shot. I think a 6.8, because that's close to the 7, which is what I gave the last movie. That's good.
Okay. You know, it's funny. I'm the opposite. I think I liked Insidious more than The Conjuring.
You did?
I did. I don't know why. I think there's those elements that you touched upon, plus the imagery. The demon in this one is way scarier to me than the Bathsheba. And the cliffhanger at the end of Insidious got me. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I think I'd give it 8 stitches out of 10.
Yeah. I think the big thing for me to overcome was the ridiculousness of the housing situation.
Get past that.
And
we
the
know
dad.
It's Hollywood. We know that's how he was set up. But yeah, I think the overall creativity of this movie was amazing to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, 8 out of 10 stitches.
All
right. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging on and listening to us about banter about a lot of things today.
Yeah.
We hope if you can, once we're out, we'll rate us and subscribe to us. That would be so amazing, please. That would be awesome. And good or bad, we'll take all the ratings.
Yeah, let us know that you're there and that you're out there and that you're listening to us, because we do want to build a community with you guys.
Yeah.
Please reach out to us at theominousstitch@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear your stories. So if you have any paranormal stories or any true crime stories that you've experienced, we would love to hear that. If you're a medium and you want to help me through my journey, you can reach out to us there at theominousstitch@gmail.com. Also, check out our social media. See some pictures, and maybe we can include a link to that YouTube clip. Can we do that?
Oh yeah, I'll put that on our social media. I'll put in photos of Aokigahara. I'll put on the clip for YouTube. I'll even link our sources of where I researched.
Yes, and then also check out our YouTube channel, the Ominous Stitch podcast at YouTube, and see the moss stitch. And you can also check out the alpine stitch if you haven't seen that. And stitch and listen.
Wonderful. All right, with that, see you,
We'll
Stitchers.
see you, Stitchers.